This past week I've had some severe dental work done over here on this side, and I got a sore mouth. So I'm going to preach.
Sure that wasn't from Carol knocking you in the mouth?
Yeah, he's going to knock you in the mouth in a minute. So I'm going to preach about a minute and a half, I think, and then we're going to go eat apples. So I don't know if you all know this, maybe you do, maybe you don't, but about 10 years ago I had a heart attack, and ever since then I've been a cardiovascular patient under the care of a wonderful, wonderful surgeon named Dr. Stein. And he, of course, put me on, a whole bowl full of medicine I got to take every day. Well, insurance won't cover that for the local pharmacy, so you have to go to one of these pharmaceutical houses that dispense these things, and I am involved with a group called Express Scripts. I don't know if you ever heard them or not. Have you? Okay. Well, then you will love this story. Anyway, they ran out of one drug, so they had to replace it, and I went to call them. And Chuck, have you ever tried to call Express Scripts? Thank you for calling Express Scripts. This is our automated phone system. And it starts, and you're going, please spell your name with the letters on the phone. So I spell my name. Is this correct? Are you Chanter? And yes. Press 1 if yes. Press 2 if you say yes in Spanish. Press 3 if... Please enter your birth date. So you put in your birth date. Is this you? And is this your birthday? Press 1 if you... Oh, good Lord. To make sure it's you, put in the last 4 digits of your social security number. Put in your driver's license. Put in your wife's waist size. Well, there's a lot of numbers. If 1, press yes. If 2, press 3. If you'd like to kill yourself, press 5. And it goes on and on. Now, security questions. What was your mother's maiden name when she was fighting the Gauls in 1116? What? Finally, you just want to scream, "Give me a human being!" And after you go through 45 minutes of this, it says, if you would like to talk to a comfort customer operator, press 0. Now you say that. Not kidding you. 30 minutes on the phone, pushing buttons, answering questions, putting in numbers, putting in stuff. I'm going, give me a break. Holy moly.
Just keep hitting 0.
Have you all ever been through that? The beauty of automation and technology is making our lives so much easier. And if that's not the case, it's, just a moment, we'll answer your call in the order of which it's received. And then you hear the god-awfulest music you've ever heard for like a week. Benny calls it ignore. I said, who you talk to? He goes, well, I'm an ignore right now. And that's a good thing for it. And they'll come on every 20 minutes and go, thank you for your patience. Your estimated time of receiving this call is 3 days, 18 hours, and 10 minutes. Stop it. Just let me talk to somebody. Now, I'm not making that up. I'm exaggerating a little bit. But if you don't believe me, go try and call Express Scripts, and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Anyway, what happens? We hate it when we get put on hold. We hate it when we get postponed. We hate it when we got to jump through all these hoops and nothing happens. What happens when we pray and nothing happens? Think about it. Jesus was dealing with that issue. He said, we're praying, but nothing's happening. And Jesus tells us a parable. Now remember, parable doesn't create truth, it merely points it out. Jesus said, let me tell you a story. You're worried about God not answering prayer. Let me tell you a story. There was this city that had a big, mean, ugly judge in it, and he didn't fear God, he didn't fear any man, he didn't care about anybody. And yet there was a little widow lady. Now you got to understand, in that culture, women were of no substance at all. They didn't matter. They weren't allowed to own property. They weren't allowed to own, bank accounts or monies or businesses or any of that stuff. So if your husband died, pretty much everything you've known and owned, house-wise, land-wise, property-wise, either goes to a firstborn son, if you have a son. If you don't, Well, then usually the state of the church shows up. And you're out on the street, lady. I don't really care. Evidently, this widow, we're told, lost her husband, was fighting some kind of needed protection. I'm thinking somebody was coming after her land, after her house, after everything she owned, because her old man died. And she had no heir to pass it on to. So she goes to the judge, the big, mean, ugly judge that doesn't fear anybody, and says, please give me protection. Let me keep my land. Let me keep my house. Let me, don't throw me out on the streets. And the judge, of course, says, get out of here. I got no time for women. Get out of here. Get out of here. Over and over again. But every day the woman came down there, begging legal protection, crying and flopping on the floor, like a flounder, and trying to get the judge's attention. The judge says, no, get out of here. Leave me alone. And Jesus is telling this story, and the people have got to be wondering, what is he doing? Finally, the lady comes, and the judge comes to himself, and we're told a second time, he's a big, ugly judge. He did not fear God nor any man. But this time the lady came, she must have really done something. Because the judge says, oh, you know what? Give her whatever she wants. Because she's coming every day. She's been coming every day. For weeks and weeks, she's been coming every day. And she's wearing me out. Boom. And she wins the case. She gets the protection. And Jesus says, take note of this. This judge was under no legal anything to help this woman. Him being a big, ugly judge that feared neither God nor man, and he eventually broke down and gave this woman justice. How much more do you think God will be quick to help you when his children cry out? Today we're going to talk about what should we do when God doesn't answer the phone? When God tarries. And we're praying and we're saying, well, come on, what's going on? We're going to talk about that a little bit today. Why Jesus told us this parable. There's a reason. We got to look at it. First, I want you to stand one final time.